Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to take this opportunity just to quickly talk you through, in advance of our joint strategy meeting, the types of CPD that we've got going on. Obviously, since we've gone into lockdown, it's been quite difficult to meet together, other than when people come into school to do a little bit of staffing, and that doesn't mean that everyone's involved. CPD is an area that we've really got to start upping the ante on. For me, there are 4 different areas of CPD that we need to look at as a school. From a teaching and learning perspective, that's our personal pedagogy, that's what we use in the classroom. It's the generic skills that we should have as a teacher, and the way that we stand up, the way we present. There's our specialism CPD, which might be specific to you within your subject area, and might come through your faculty teams. There's the school and IT systems. Obviously, we've got structures in place, and we've got new and different levels of IT skills that we need to learn to use and utilise on a regular basis. And then finally, we've got pastoral CPD, and there's obviously a big crossover between things like behaviour management and teaching and learning in the classroom. So we've got to make sure that we're covering all those bases. Now, in an effort to try to combat the issues that we've got at the moment, what I've done is I've produced a frog site, a CPD frog site, and I've already published a video that you've seen of how to get to that frog site, but I just wanted to quickly take you through what's on there, because now is a brilliant opportunity, and over the coming weeks is a brilliant opportunity to really start to hone our skills further, and to talk to one another and use some of the new skills and the new technology that's available to us. So I've just started by going to the home site of my CPD page, and there's lots and lots of different opportunities on this site for you to look at. For me, perhaps the biggest change in the way that I've worked over the last 2 years has been the use of Twitter, and we've got a teaching and learning Twitter handle, which is at @TLLuffer1. Twitter is a brilliant resource for looking at what's going on out there in the world of teaching. There are links to all sorts of things. Yes, there's rubbish. There is rubbish stuff out there, and there's stuff that you might not agree with. But I could certainly put you in the direction, or point you in the direction of some brilliant work that's going on. Now, when you come to look at the site, you'll see that there's YouTube videos, that there's podcasts, so there's just sound bites, there's PowerPoint packages, there's reading material out there for you to go through. So depending on how you work as a teacher, there really is something in there for everyone. There's lots and lots of web links as well to sites that you might be able to get either free or reduced rate training from, and these I recommend highly, because they are really an opportunity to hone our skills. Perhaps something that I've very much changed the way that I do over the last year or so is read a lot of articles and a lot of books in the last year, and down this further reading column we've actually got lots and lots of books and material that I actually have, and if anyone wants to borrow them, please just email me, let me know. There's lots and lots of resources there. We've got videos, as you can see, training opportunities. Now, some 3 sites in particular that I think jump out straight away in terms of free training courses that are out there. The Open University link that we have here takes you straight to all their free training. Seneca online teaching. Now, Seneca we can use as a tool for our students, obviously, to help them with their learning, but there are lots and lots of online learning packages. I was really, really impressed when I spoke to Lisa Tabb last week, who has literally, she said, I just got so engrossed in it, Tim, I started at 5 o'clock in the evening and I was still going at midnight on one of these packages to do with autism, and there's some really interesting stuff in there, an opportunity to take ourselves forwards. The Microsoft Educator site, I think, is very, very good as well, particularly as we've tried to reduce the amount of platforms where we can that are being used. We could have gone to things like Zoom, we could have gone to stuff like Microsoft Teams, but other than the safety concern that we had with Zoom, perhaps the biggest pull to Google Classroom was the fact that we're already using the Google Suite, and that's something to be aware of. So that's just your home site. It gives you an idea of things that you can look at. Really, really good book, this one at the bottom, if you get a chance to look at it. It's The Teaching Walk Through Us by Tom Sherrington. It's literally been released in about the last month or so, last 6 weeks to a month, and really, really good package to look at. So the next section, just to point you towards, this is about the systems that we're using now. We've gone from a physical site to now a virtual site. So the next section is about broadcasting yourself remotely. Now there are lots and lots of pitfalls with this, so I've tried to put information that I think is relevant to you and information that's worth looking at. So you've got some videos on there. Paul Kirshner is a great speaker on types of things that we need to look at when we're delivering online, and this was a recent production that he did for Research Ed Durrington, and is well worth watching, so that you actually bear in mind the things that you need to have when you're teaching. So this first page here, just about the generic things to look through. I've got some stuff from the Everlearner on there that's worth a watch on types of platform, types of things that you need. Just underneath the broadcasting yourself remotely, you'll notice I've got two separate pages, which is Google Meet, which is the platform that we're looking to go to now for when we want to do online tutorials, or in fact online lessons, if that's what staff want or wish to do. So on this Google Meet site, you see you've got an opportunity. You've got sites where you can actually go to find the training for yourself. This site here in particular is very, very good, the Control-Alt-Achieve site. I find him a really good speaker, very clear, very concise over what needs to be done. I've put a number of videos in place for you that you can use straight away and have a look at. Features that I think are really, really important in Google Meet, and Helen Williams has certainly done a lot of work towards this as well. Down this side here, there are some other features that you need to be aware of, so such as recording your live session for your own safety more than anything else. How to set up the Google Meet through the classroom so that it is safe, so that only youngsters with the password can get in, and in fact only youngsters that are in our RM Unify account can get into that as well. So you need to have a look at those if you're talking with staff, etc. The other thing that to be aware of is that's obviously all live lessons. That's called a synchronous lesson, but actually something that we perhaps need to consider as we're moving to a time now where we're potentially going to have youngsters in school and youngsters out of school, is to look at some asynchronous learning, which is videoed lessons, which is where we first went with this. Now on this site here, I'm just quickly go through, there are various different methods for doing this. Graham King did a great presentation on how to use Smart Notebook. I produced a video for you already showing you how you can use PowerPoint as a tool to do that, and shortly there will be some instructions on how you can use Loom. And I know that Loom, I think Jane is using that in science at the moment. She highly recommends it. So Loom is a program that you can use. The one that I use and the one that I'm using now is called OBS Screen Capture. It's used by a lot of gamers. It's very, very simple to use as well, for staff to actually just get used to using. So we'll put some instructions on there so that staff can see what to do. Moving through, Google Classroom has obviously been the thing that lots and lots of staff have been shouting out for, instead of it just being about Frog, and perhaps in the future there's an opportunity to move just towards this suite. But Google Classroom, it's been really encouraging to hear how certain members of staff have now moved to the classroom and seem to be adapting their skills in the classroom. But we've got a series of videos that Helen Williams has produced for you on how to use the Google Classroom. Important, the page to use is the Google Educator site. and you'll notice that there are various different videos from here down this side of the page as well to use for the Google Classroom. But again, something that we need to get used to using in this technological age. Now, underneath those, I've also put a number of other sites just to be aware of. The Everlearner is a package that we can use in PE, in science, in languages. There's an English package, there's a history package. So there's lots and lots of opportunities to use that, and quite a lot of staff have asked me for that. I use that a lot in PE. A brilliant package to support what you do in the classroom. Then underneath that, we then start to think about pedagogy in the classroom. So you'll notice that I've got pages here on raising achievement, Rosenshine's principles, curriculum design into leaving. You're doing a lot of work at the moment, heads of faculty, with Stephen Stewart on curriculum design, and I'd recommend having a look at that, because there's a lot of articles there from Research Ed in particular on how we should be designing our curriculums. And I think that's something that we need to revisit at this moment in time, because we're going to have to put in interim curriculums. There are going to be now gaps. There are going to be holes that need filling. The exam boards have not stated whether they're going to drop content from the exams in the future or not. So really we've got to start to think about where things now get mapped into place, and where we can make sure that we can get pupils up to the same types of level. Before I just get to that one, raising achievement, Dylan William does an awful lot on raising achievement. Could have called this one closing the gaps, but I think that's quite a negative way of looking at it. So raising achievement amongst different groups is really important. And a sub page to this, and something that I really enjoy listening to, and these will get added to over the weeks, from the book Boys Don't Try, there's a podcast series that's out at the moment. Now, this one does come with a little bit of a warning. The language, particularly in the pilot episode, can be a little bit raw from Matt Pink in particular, and it's certainly a very funny listen. If you've got a few minutes to sit down and actually listen to what's going on. Personally, what I do is I just stick it on my headphones while I'm on the bike. I'm doing a workout at home or something along that, and just listen to it. And it caused a lot of laughs, I think, when I was listening through to it, but learnt an awful lot from it as well. Rosenshine's principles is something that Tom Sherrington in particular is pushing and has pushed over the last 18 months or so, and there's a superb pack here. Science have utilised this year. Ross has done a fantastic job as faculty coach of driving that through science, and there's certainly an awful lot of work there gone into Rosenshine's principles and support packs to go alongside it for you to look at. Briefly talked already about curriculum design and interleaving. That is well worth having a look at. Lots and lots of videos there. Leading learner, Stephen Tierney. He is worth looking at the articles that I've put there for you to actually think about that. Mary Myatt has got some great ideas on the essential ingredients for a curriculum, and this particular presentation at the top by Mark Enser, who I think he's over at Heathfield School, was very interesting at the Durrington Research Ed event recently. Differentiation, various different things there for a differentiation. Joe Lawler, faculty coach in arts, and in fact head of faculty for arts, has done a great job of supplying some resources here to go in, embedding formative assessment and assessment for learning from Dylan William. Practice and retrieval, we've got here, so practice and retrieval, an opportunity to start thinking about that. Interesting, at this time we have a tendency to want to rush through things, deliver new content, and practice and retrieval, we need to keep reinforcing that, because if we start looking at the forgetting curves and Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, if we start to deliver things too quickly, youngsters forget it very quickly. So I cannot emphasize enough how important practice and retrieval is. And in fact, next week with Neil's Airbrick Day, and the opportunity to have tutorials with the youngsters, and their opportunity to stop learning to allow pupils an opportunity to reflect, to allow pupils an opportunity to retrieve the information that they've already been working on and really start to organise their learning, is an important feature that's been put into place. Something that lots of staff have been crying out for some time now. It has been about behaviour management. I know Andy ran a session on behaviour management, but there's some really good videos, articles. Cult of Pedagogy do some really good work. I think she's a Canadian website over in the States, but Cult of Pedagogy talk about different skills that you can use in the classroom, and I'd certainly recommend having a look at that. We've got our SEND site, so waiting for more stuff to go in here basically, but there's lots of links there, lots of training courses that are available to staff at the moment. That's worth having a look at. And the site that I'm working on at the moment will be mental health and well-being. We've recently had some resources come in for teachers. So that really is an overview of what's going on. It's gone on far longer than I wanted it to, but as this is a video, you can choose to watch as much of it or as little of it as you want. The great thing about videoed lessons is we don't have a fixed seating time. You can pause it, you can fast forward it, you can do what you like with this particular video. The one thing that I would encourage everyone who's in the forum today to do is please speak to your departments. What do people want? What do people need? The other thing I would encourage you to do is please, 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 if there is something that you want clarified, if there's something that you would like some time with department members talking through, please email me. Please don't just say our school's not doing anything. There is an opportunity there for you to contact me in this time. There's an opportunity for us to meet online and we talk through things. I am not going to say to you straight away, that is easy, don't worry about it. I'll show you what to do. And that's really, really important that we start working together and start moving forwards.